Welcome, my name is Wendy Rapay and I'm National Chair of the Children's Book Council of Australia, and I'm talking to you from the land of the Worimi people. I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which we work and any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and recognise and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing culture and connections to the lands and the waters of Australia. I particularly want to acknowledge their storytelling culture, which we celebrate and support with our work at the CBCA. These awards have been presented for 75 years, and we know Australian young readers will continue to have a rich repository of stories written for them because of our awards process. However, in 2017 we conducted a survey and we heard loud and clear that we needed to include young voices into the critiquing conversation. Young people require a sense of agency to receive culture through stories. We were inspired by the Carnegie Awards in the UK, who established a shadow judging program that provided us with the answers to our challenge: how to include young people into our conversation around rich quality literature. This symposium, We All Like a Good Story, reflects perfectly the Children's Book Council of Australia's core purpose. The CBCA is the home of the Book of the Year Awards for children's literature, and we believe our awards celebrate and reward rich quality literature, and they support our important community of Australian storytellers, the writers and illustrators of children's books. In 2020 and 2021, Victoria CBCA trialled our shadow judging program. That is, young groups of readers shadowing our Book of the Year Awards judges. Our Sun project will include programs that illuminate Australian children's literature. The shadow judging program is our first. We had 161 groups participating across Australia in our first national rollout, thanks to an Australian Federal Rise grant. You will hear the details of our program later in this presentation, but we encourage you to go to our website, shadowjudging@cbca.org.au, and view the video, amongst other things, announcing the choices made by our groups this year. In this presentation, though, you will hear the voices of our young participants, along with CBCA representatives, group facilitators and creatives. They will describe their experiences. We filmed a follow-up session with participants in the Bendigo region earlier this month, which all happened at Kangaroo Flat Public School and included interviews at the ABC radio studios. But first we want to share some words from some of our young participants. We know with this program, young people increase their reading repertoire and engagement with literature when they feel a sense of agency. That is, they are reading outside the genres they usually read. They also develop a deeper appreciation of literary qualities. In doing this, we believe we have brought rich literature into the hearts of classrooms and homes. We know young people have valued meeting together with like-minded others. This has been a major strength of the program and directly impacts their well-being.
The shadow judging challenged us to look at books from a different perspective. It was fun working with authors that came into our school. It was a wonderful experience, and we have learned about how they write their books and what they have to think about when writing.
I think the shadow judging was a fun time to explore new books and be able to do this with friends and also share with family members.
The shadow judging was an awesome experience because I had fun with some people I don't normally bond with. I also got to read lots of books I wouldn't have normally picked up, and I enjoyed most of them.
I really enjoyed the shadow judging as it showed me many ways to write and exposed me to many talented authors.
The shadow judging program was developed to support young readers to engage deeply with quality Australian literature. Its aim is to encourage children to explore literature, author and illustrator craft, to express opinions on books read and share responses to books in a collaborative setting to the wider community. Shadow judges are guided in using the same criteria as the CBCA adult judges to critique literary merit and to champion their choices. Importantly, it offers children a voice in the CBCA Book of the Year Awards, not seen before on a national scale. Shadow judges and their facilitators, those adults guiding the program in each setting, timetable opportunities for the shadow judging group to read the 6 shortlisted books in the category of their choice and to support discussions and engagement with the judging criteria. As a group, they plan and create a collaborative response to each of the 6 books and share these on the Shadow Judging website. Finally, the group votes to nominate their winner in their selected category. This year, funding enabled each group to enjoy a visit from an author or illustrator of their choosing. Students could hear about a creator's literary or artistic processes, hear of the inspirations behind books, and of course, ask lots of great questions. The success of the creator presentations has been very evident, and we're hopeful of continued funding into 2023 to support this valuable aspect of shadow judging. As part of the shadow judging process of gathering schools interested to participate, we ask for expressions of interest in our state newsletters. Along with our subcommittees, the state conveners selected schools that reflected both primary, secondary, independent, Catholic and state schools. We also supported book clubs and libraries. We organised mentors for each group to support the facilitators, those group leaders, and we offered them access to the Shadow Judging website. Resources included the judging criteria, ideas about how to ask those really important questions that lead to deep conversations with the text, including Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander work, and ideas for creating responses to the texts. The Shadow Judging program and the way it was structured supported and valued the voice of young readers, acknowledging that they have genuine insights and beliefs and perspectives. The program offered an opportunity for the children to share their opinion in a community of learners. They were offered space to read, to consider and to debate the shortlist with their peers. They were asked to share a creative response before finally voting on what they felt was the book that met the criteria best.
Nice to be able to chat with most of my friends about different types of books and kind of vote on which we think should win the early childhood selection, because it's a great experience to try and increase your kind of knowledge on reading and writing.
It'd be good if like next year and the year after there's other shadow judging projects like that. Like for the younger students in the school, they get a chance to do it as well.
And would you like to do it again?
Yeah, I would do it again, yeah.
I would recommend it because it's like you get to have some sort of experience with your friends. You know, you get to read, you get to express your ideas while also listening to your friends' ideas, and you just get to share your thoughts.
That's wonderful.
You socialise a lot more actually when you're there, because it's not like in the classroom where you're just listening, then you do the work. You actually get a say in everything.
Something that was really powerful for me was when one of the shadow judges came into my room one day and she brought her friends along and she was showing her friends one of the books in our category in the shortlist, and she was going through it and she was telling her friends all about it and they were engaged, and it made me think that this is going beyond, definitely our shadow group sessions, but they are talking about it with their family, with their friends, with their teachers. A lot of what I used just came from the shadow judging website and resources. So when we were looking at the criteria that the judges used, we wanted to sort of engage with that too, to see what would an adult judge see in the book. So I just sort of introduced them to it. Probably what I'd usually do is read the story to them and then get them to, in pairs, jot down some of their thinking, their initial thinking, their wonderings, and then we'd sort of probably on the next session we'd have after that, we'd respond more to the criteria. It's a wonderful opportunity to to really not only explore such quality literature in the categories, but also to just promote that love of reading across the school. It went beyond the project, and it went filtered out throughout our school with our visiting authors and seeing how writers and authors, produce their work. I think was really, really inspiring for our whole school community. When we met with Christina, when we were looking at when the waterhole dries up, some of what they were saying, she was actually giving a name to it. So they knew about like front loading, and we talked about the end papers and things like that. So then that's just become part of now how they respond to literature, and they have a common language they can use.
In the final freeze of an Antarctic winter, green tails wave across a starful sky as if to farewell endless nights. If this world looks empty, look closer. Those are penguin tracks, and beneath the ice, orca roam. In the pale morning, an iceberg calves, shears from a glacier and plunges to the ocean in a haze of sparkle frost. The ice is flat-topped, sharp and angular, and carries ancient weather in its layers of ice clothing, a coat for each year volcanoes blew, and black ash fell like snow.
It's like the book is picking up my brain and taking it into their world, and it's like I zone out.
You go into the world of the book.
How much books you've read, if it has enough, I guess, like interesting words and descriptive language in the book, then I can picture it like as a whole movie running through my mind.
Yeah, the way they describe it, it puts your mind in a little...
It's like a teleport.
They bring you to a cinema and you watch a movie.
That sort of is the magic of something like this, and that's why it's really lovely to talk to the students, particularly students that have been working with looking and really looking at text and image and working out how they're together, and so they're looking at the process as well as the content. And they always come up with things that stump you. I have homework to do.
Yes, we've got some tips on things we should have done differently. When we did the groups with the shadow judging, you felt that extra layer of understanding with what we'd done, and they had a familiarity with the words and the images, so they were really interested in quite deep questions.
And the future is in good hands with these wonderfully curious and inquisitive and deep diving students. So just were amazing.
Yeah, totally agree.
What was it like with Kangaroo Flat primary school students?
They had the best questions. They were just
they had
so switched on.
I was amazed how they had such a great knowledge already there for the natural world. So they were telling us so many facts that they knew about animals, and they had such an appreciation of all the work that we put into Iceberg already through the shadow judging process.
I think we need to be respectful of our young people and what they're able to absorb, and if we give them good information supported in context, then they're better equipped for anything that they deal with in their life.
They almost are 5 steps ahead of someone that hadn't done that deep dive. They'd really discovered the magic between the words and the pictures.
They're going below the surface, and they're actually seeing the construction and the bulk of what makes up any book, and it means that they're learning the language of understanding story, and that's going to help them making their own stories, but also gathering the most that they can from any other stories that they read, because they've unpicked it and they know how it now goes together.
I do enjoy meeting authors and illustrators and like talking about what they have done to kind of increase their like productivity on the books and their knowledge and I guess kind of research on everything they do.
Yeah, like they do judge you, but in like a good way. They get to like know you and you get to know them, and meeting new people is always fun. So
yeah, they also get to show you how their book started and how they ended.
It finished and how it could have been if they changed some of it, and it was really cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
So Brooke had done
as you would imagine, an incredible job working with the children for a period of weeks, and they had decided that they would look at the early childhood category. So they'd read all the books, they'd evaluated them according to the judges that we as the adult judges had used, exactly the same criteria, and then they had decided which book should win. And as it turned out, the book that they thought should win, Jetty Jumping, was the book that the adult judges picked as the winner. So they were really excited. And Andrea Rowe, the author, came to visit them. And then yesterday, the day was really a celebration, a culmination of everything. So we had the Kangaroo Flat children, and we also had Sue Gentry brought the Raywood children on the bus to the Big Smoke, and to see the interaction with the children was absolutely brilliant. And we just know that in the same way that books like Iceberg are going to change lives, a day like that plants a seed for children that their opinions and their insights are valuable. And as you heard from Claire and Jess, I mean, we were just blown away by some of the comments that the students made. So yeah, it was just wonderful. And then today they go off to California Gully and they meet with another group of shadow judges. Linda Windridge has been working with her students on the younger reader category, which is, really impressive for those kids to read 6 full-on novels and to evaluate them in the same way that the adult judges did. So the shadow judging project opens up the CBCA to just such a range of new things.
Statistics from America, UK and Australia all indicate that reading for pleasure has declined in the past decade. However, this project has the potential to address that to some extent. The feedback on this project lends itself to research on the benefits for readers and their facilitators of supporting deep reading of literary texts in a group situation. It could be either a discrete case study of a group, or it could be a comparison across demographic or geographical areas, or by age group.
The shadow judges have shown that they have such interesting perspectives, and given an opportunity, are very articulate and able to share their deepest ideas about the books that they're reading. I think that this lends itself to the potential for a great deal of future research, not just on this project, but also on the impact of quality Australian literature on the cultural fabric of Australian society. There is lots of potential in years to come as the shadow judging project grows in 2023 and beyond.
Thank you for listening to us today. We suggest if you're interested in forming or facilitating a shadow judging group in 2023, you get in touch with your local state CBCA branch through our cbca.org.au website. What better way to finish than to hear from Misha and Isabel in grades 3 and 4 at Exeter Primary School. They wrote us a letter. We love judging books. It's hard sometimes, but also fun. We learned heaps about judging criteria and the messages that the authors were trying to teach us. When we are older, we would like to be judges like you for the Children's Book Awards. We are very grateful to be shadow judges. Hope we do it next year again.